Here at Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho, we have adapted a golf conditioning program based on the Butch Harmon principles in his program. For those who don't know who Butch Harmon is, he is the golf instructor that led Tiger Woods to all those championships years ago. Today, he still works with those championship caliber players. The program addresses fundamental flexibility and core strength. It's a 10-session program in which each session lasts about an hour. The sessions are usually spread out over 4 to 6 weeks. On the first day, we do a quick screen to look for limitations and impairments. We then go ahead and measure your club head swing speed. After collecting this information, we tailor a program specific to you and your needs that will help facilitate fundamental flexibility and enhance your core strength. As visits continue, we progress to a more arduous program that will facilitate more advanced gains. On the final visit, we remeasure your club head swing speed and expect anywhere from 3 to 10 miles an hour of increase. For each increased mile an hour, you will equate that to 3 yards of distance on your shot. And this translates to all your shots, not just your drive. Not only will you be seeing dramatic improvements in your golf game, but you will also reduce the risk of injury. And your body will feel much better when you finalize that last round.
Hello, my name is John Wilson, Director of Instruction here at Juniper Hills Country Club. As a teacher, I see it all the time with my students, their inadequate flexibility and strength in the golf swing. Golfers tend to have a harder time adhering to proper swing mechanics with poor flexibility and poor strength. The truth is that the most important piece of equipment when it comes to golf is our body. If a golfer has restrictions in their hips or lacks the ability to rotate through their trunk, this may lead to poor mechanics, which affects their ability to improve their game and ultimately can lead to injury. I myself have experienced Corey's golf conditioning program, and I can verify that it addresses key components of your physical health that not only prevent injury but also improve your game. Golf demands a high level of pain-free flexibility. If one or more of your joints lacks its range of full motion, then it may reduce your ability to reach your full potential. Proper mechanics coupled with adequate strength and flexibility will result in increased swing speeds and ultimately increase the length of every shot you hit. What's great about Corey's program is he can tailor it to your individual needs. If you are serious about taking your game to the next level or just want to improve your overall golf fitness, then go talk with Corey and his team today. You'll be glad you did.
Let Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho improve your game. any of these look familiar? Are you suffering through pain and avoiding activities? Stop missing out on life. Take action today and come see Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho and get back to living. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho should be your choice for physical therapy. Just like choosing your own physician, you can choose who provides your physical therapy. So tell your physician you want to go to Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho. Fortunately, in Idaho, we also have direct access, which means for most insurances, you could start therapy without seeing a physician. Come see us at any one of our 2 locations. PTSI has available appointments within 24 hours. Finding the right specialist for your orthopedic needs just got easier.
Hi, my name's Kevin Smith. I work out to the site, and I'm going to be 60 years old this year. When I first came to Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho, I was experiencing back pain and a constant burning sensation in my left hip. Golf was a significant passion of mine. The pain was beginning to interfere with my game. Now, after a few weeks of physical therapy, not only am I pain-free, but my golf game has improved dramatically. The new strength and flexibility has added distance to all my shots, and I am able to play a complete round of golf without any pain. Thanks to Corey and his team for getting me back in the game.
Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The AlterG, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho has moved. Our new facility features easy access parking, clean spacious interior, with top-of-the-line equipment and amenities. We have new appointments available within 48 hours. Not sure if physical therapy can help? Ask to schedule a 10-minute consultation at no charge. You'll enjoy meeting our friendly staff and get the answers you seek. Come see what hundreds have already experienced, because life is better without pain. Athletic Performance Specialist of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Now more than ever, in today's youth sports, there is a strong drive for bigger, faster, and stronger. In order to get that competitive edge, athletes are pushing the limits of their bodies. But with that passion also comes increased risk for season-ending injuries. This is why I created APSI. At APSI, we are committed to bringing Southeast Idaho the most advanced evidence-based sports performance training available through innovative equipment and higher-level education. APSI is committed to attaining only the most prestigious degrees and certifications that would allow us to provide the highest quality athletic performance conditioning with optimal outcomes. After a 6-week program, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. APSI is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. APSI programs take aspects of power, speed, strength, and agility to facilitate a comprehensive approach that utilizes innovative equipment and evidence-based research to safely enhance the performance and prevent injuries. Our athletic performance coaches specialize in coaching a vast spectrum of athletes from beginners to the elite who are looking to take their training to the next level. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. If you are a thrower, then throwing speeds before and after our program will be evaluated. If jumping is crucial to excel in your sport, your vertical will also be measured. Of course, speed is essential in all sports, so drills specific to your sport will be evaluated for speed. Our coaches will create a customized exercise program designed to address the deficient areas and to allow the athlete to excel in his or her sport. We designed our programs to give our athletes the competitive edge in any sport to speed past your competitor and power through any opponent. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, separation is in the preparation. Ski season is finally here. Are you ready? Want to become a better skier? Want to enjoy a full day on the mountain without fatigue? How about taking on new challenges while reducing your risk for injury? Then learn about APSI Ski Conditioning Program. At APSI, our strength and conditioning coaches have developed a 6-week program to ensure you are ready for ski season. We have specialized equipment you won't find anywhere else to help you train your muscles in a similar fashion to the challenges presented when skiing. Our power ramp provides eccentric loading to maximize leg strength and joint protection during dynamic activities. In addition, we utilize MVP shuttles to further enhance explosive power and eccentric strength to increase control during moguls and big air landings. Our coaches will tailor the intensity based on your level of conditioning. A series of stretches, plyometrics, resistance training, and balance activities will create peak performance in the muscles and joints used when skiing. So this year, don't be fantasizing about the skier you want to be. Take action and become the skier you've always wanted to. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The Alter G, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm clinical specialist for AlterG, makers of the anti-gravity treadmill. Thanks for joining me on this short video. I'd like to introduce you to some new equipment that patients and physical therapists are using in the clinic. Based on patented NASA technology, the anti-gravity treadmill allows patients to recover and athletes to perform like never before. Join me as I show you firsthand what leading hospitals and these top professional sports teams are using in their rehabilitation programs. Come on. Traditional body weight support uses either a harness or pull to accomplish unweighting or progressive loading. While providing treatment options to patients, both are not without their drawbacks. Harnesses allow for easy access to the lower extremities, so physical therapists can position their patients' feet during gait training. With patients supported, therapists can also focus on facilitation techniques without worrying about patients falling. The problem with harnesses, though, are that they tend to be cumbersome and are extremely uncomfortable. This usually cuts sessions short and also makes it difficult to get higher level athletes and patients in them willingly for training. With NASA's patented differential air pressure technology, the AlterG is able to address the challenges of providing an unweighting, progressive loading device for the whole spectrum of patients. Precise partial weight bearing, superior comfort, and the ability to maintain normal biomechanics makes differential air pressure a new alternative and the best possible choice for unweighting or progressive loading in rehabilitation and training today. Let me tell you a little bit about the AlterG technology. Inside of the anti-gravity treadmill, we've got a blower in the very front. Combine that with our specially designed bag, and we've got an environment inside this chamber where the pressure is slightly greater than the outside atmospheric pressure. The lower body positive pressure inside this bag creates a gentle lifting force for anybody inside the AlterG. At NASA, they found that it only takes 1.1 psi to get up to 75% unweighting. That means a comfortable and safe environment for any AlterG user. Differential air pressure allows for numerous advantages when compared to some of the other current body weight support options, like a harness or pull. You could see from this table that the harness provides good unloading or unweighting from 100% all the way down to 60% body weight. Any lower and it gets more uncomfortable as you need to provide more support. The pull, on the other hand, does a great job from 50% and below. But if you only need to provide a minimal amount of unloading, it's very challenging to get that within a pull. With the AlterG, we cover the whole spectrum from 100% all the way down to 20% body weight in 1% increments. First of all, we can be much more precise. With the AlterG, you can start loading someone from as low as 20% of their body weight and increase in as small as 1% increments. This will allow for precise recording of progress and complete control of the loading progression for each user. Secondly, comfortable support with our patented AlterG shorts means longer sessions of rehab and training. This translates into greater motor learning for neurological patients or longer training sessions with less impact for athletes. In fact, users like the AlterG so much it's usually harder to get them off of the unit once they've been in one. Thirdly, differential air pressure allows for normal walking or running mechanics. This is critical when we think about specificity of training. In a pool, we have to consider the resistance of the water, and in a harness, we are dealing with lifting support that often changes the body's natural movement patterns. Studies with the AlterG show preserved muscle firing patterns in both walking and running, even at various levels of unweighting. Think of the AlterG as a progressive loading, early controlled loading device. Unweighting may not be a concept that is intuitive clinically, since most of the time we as therapists are trying to load someone and get them back to full weight bearing, not unload them. That being the case, the sooner we can get someone into closed kinetic chain, the more benefits those patients can derive from their treatment sessions. We could improve proprioceptive stimulation, we could increase muscle co-contraction, we could decrease muscle atrophy, we could help prevent bone demineralization that accompanies inactivity, and we can increase specificity of training with the normal mechanics inside the AlterG. Until differential air pressure, there was not a way to control lower extremity loading. Patients that were partial weight-bearing had to guesstimate what the appropriate load would be, and weight-bearing as tolerated patients just had to endure their symptoms until they were at full strength to prevent symptoms from recurring. With the AlterG anti-gravity treadmill, we have a newer and better way to load the lower extremities. For weight-bearing as tolerated patients, we can find out at what level patients are comfortable loading and start there. Then we can progress very systematically from that point forward. This can prevent the treatment plan from being too overly aggressive, helping patients to avoid setbacks and to continue improving in a linear progression. In fact, patients don't even have to start the treadmill. They can do close kinetic chain activities, proprioceptive exercises, all taking advantage of the differential air pressure. If they have less pain, the hope is they can tolerate those activities longer. For patients that are required to be partial weight-bearing, the ability to measure weight-bearing in 1% increments allows the AlterG to provide a very specific environment that respects healing tissue, post-injury and post-surgery, and this will help patients adhere to the surgeon's weight-bearing protocol. Here's a list of some diagnoses that could benefit from rehab in the AlterG anti-gravity treadmill: total hip arthroplasty, hip arthroscopy, meniscectomy, meniscus repair, ACL reconstruction, Achilles reconstruction, stress fractures, plantar fasciitis, and many more. We've already discussed the benefits of the AlterG with orthopedic populations. Post-injury and post-surgery patients can benefit from early controlled loading and precise partial weight bearing. Now, I'd like to share some other potential applications of the anti-gravity treadmill for other clinical populations. Motor learning is at the heart of all neurological recovery programs, and one of the keys for motor learning is repetition or massed practice. Because of the superior comfort that comes with body weight support using differential air pressure, neurological patients can tolerate longer practice sessions. This will hopefully translate into better motor learning and more successful outcomes. Fall prevention is critical for our aging population, and exercise has been shown to help decrease fall risk factors. By using differential air pressure and the AlterG, geriatric patients are able to exercise comfortably and safely. If they have arthritic joints, they no longer have to be limited in their activity levels. If they are deconditioned, the AlterG provides them a fall-safe environment to increase their exercise tolerance. The AlterG can serve as a wonderful motivational tool for obese patients. By exercising at their target body weight, people can experience the difference on their lower extremities with the perceived weight loss from the differential air pressure and the anti-gravity treadmill. A lot of cardiovascular patients also battle musculoskeletal issues. These problems limit their exercise ability, putting them at risk for further cardiac issues, high blood pressure, and metabolic diseases like diabetes. With differential air pressure and the AlterG, problems like osteoarthritis and other joint issues can be taken out of the equation. That way, these patients can focus on getting their exercise, getting fitter, and getting healthier. Thanks for joining me for this brief introductory video. I tried to give you some ideas of how the AlterG can help you and your patients. I showed you some basics of the anti-gravity treadmill and our differential air pressure technology, and you can apply it to your rehabilitation programs. Stay tuned for more videos from us in the future. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to look us up at www.alter-g.com. So until next time, defy gravity and defy your expectations.
Anterior cervical discectomy and fusion, or ACDF, is a surgical procedure done through the neck. The incision is in the front of your neck because it's easier to reach the disc that way. During the procedure, the surgeon removes bone spurs or damaged discs that are pressing on the nerve and fuses the damaged disc to relieve neck pain.
Hi, I'm Mike Krzyzewski, coach of Duke University men's basketball team. When you hear words like work or hard, don't shy away from them. My players learn to love work when they see results. What's really hard is living in pain, but you don't have to. Consider what level of play is right now. Now think about how long you can afford to stay that way and still get the job done.
As you prepare for a fusion, your surgeon will want to know your medical history in order to identify anything that may affect safe conditions for anesthesia and bone healing. It's important to pay attention to your nutrition in the weeks leading up to surgery. Diets high in protein, calcium, and vitamin D help in the bone healing process. In addition, patients should stop smoking or chewing tobacco 4 weeks before the surgery and several months after because nicotine impairs bone healing. Alcohol, caffeine, and herbals can cause bleeding problems and should not be taken 1 week before and 2 weeks after surgery. Also, some medications should not be taken prior to or after the procedure, such as anti-inflammatory medicines like aspirin and ibuprofen. Check with your surgeon for recommendations about these. Your physician will also discuss the possible risks associated with neck surgery. The main concerns include infection, inadequate bone healing, loosening of the screws or cage implant, or persisting pain from scar tissue. Additionally, because your doctor has to work around the area that controls your swallowing and your vocal cords, there are occasional problems with speech or swallowing. While all of these risks are rare, any one of them could create a need for future surgery. Theoretically, because the surgery is done so close to your spinal cord, paralysis is possible, though rare. Be sure to discuss these risks and any additional concerns you may have with your surgeon. During the anterior cervical discectomy and fusion surgery, you'll be lying on your back. The surgeon makes a small incision in the front of the neck directly over the disc and creates a pathway to the spine by moving the muscles to the side, somewhat like opening a curtain. This pathway will expose the damaged disc. The surgeon will first remove any bone spurs and disc fragments pressing on the nerves or spinal cord. If the disc has collapsed from disease, the vertebrae are moved back into their normal position. To repair the damaged disc, the surgeon then inserts an implant into the space between your vertebrae. Your surgeon may choose to use either an implant made from synthetic material or from actual bone. This implant acts as a support between the two vertebrae to hold them in place while they heal. In order to stimulate fusion and the healing of the bone, the surgeon will insert bone graft or other special materials into the disc space. Finally, the surgeon may need to further strengthen the reconstruction with the addition of a small metal plate and screws. This extra support may aid in bone healing. The surgeon then completes the surgery by closing the incision area and may choose to place a small drain at the site for a day or two. Over several months, the vertebral bones and the bone graft material inside the implant will fuse together and become one solid block. For 1 to 4 weeks after ACDF surgery, many patients experience some hoarseness, a sore throat, or difficulty swallowing solids. You'll need to contact your doctor immediately if you develop any swallowing problems that interfere with your ability to breathe or drink liquids. It's important to keep an eye on the incision. If it becomes red, tender, if there's drainage, or if you have a fever over 101 degrees, it's time to call your doctor. The initial recovery generally lasts about 4 weeks before you feel completely like yourself. During this time, your surgeon will take x-rays of your spine and will use the x-rays to figure out the best time for you to return to your daily activities and work. Be aware that driving requires a lot of head motion, so discuss this and sexual activity with your doctor. Generally, for the first few weeks after the ACDF procedure, heavy lifting and heavy household chores are discouraged. Sometimes a cervical collar or brace is worn during recovery to limit motion and help with healing. Your doctor may also prescribe physical therapy once your neck is healed. It typically takes about 3 to 6 months for the bone to heal completely, and your doctor will confirm this with x-rays. Until that time, high-intensity activities like running should be avoided.
My surgery has not only helped me as a coach, but it has also allowed me to become a more active husband, father, and grandfather. I was pretty nervous about the surgery at first, but I'm so happy I went through with it. When I returned to physical activity, I was really amazed at the things I could do. How many times do you say, I don't know if I have the time to do it? You can make the time to do it. Why would you want to live with back problems? Positive attitude matters. You must tell yourself, I'm not going to let pain win. But listen, I'm Coach K, not Dr. K. Make sure you ask your doctor if a spine procedure is right for you.
Wait for that, wait for that hook.
Lower price tag throughout this car night and see by most. As always, if your neighborhood price is the place for prices so low, they're famous.
Seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. 20 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2. Get ready. Set it up and go. 20 seconds. 1, 2. Good. Good. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. Stop. Good. 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 20. 10. 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on. Come on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar is From Zero to Faster Than Before, brought to you by AlterG and presented by Kevin Roush. Kevin Roush is the president and owner of Roush PT, as well as the co-founder of Perform PT. He is a preferred AlterG partner and an owner of an AlterG, as well as one of the prettiest physical therapy clinics I have ever seen. He has a master's degree from Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale and a bachelor's in exercise physiology from the California Baptist University in Riverside, California. And he comes to us with a ton of experience. We are honored to have him today. In addition to Kevin's presentation, we will be following it up with some Q&A from our audience. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them either into the Q&A box on your screen or into the webinar chat, and we will address those at the end of Kevin's presentation, unless there is something urgent that he will get to during the presentation. Meanwhile, please stand by for Kevin's presentation, and we appreciate you joining us and look forward to all of your questions. Kevin, you can take it away when you're ready.
I was going to say, is that my cue?
That is your cue.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're trying something different today. You actually get to see my face. I know it doesn't look that good, but I put a dress shirt on today. This is as good as it gets, so I apologize. I'd actually love to see your face, but that's not what the webinars are for. You can be working and eating and doing something more fun while we're here slaving away doing webinars and making these things happen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to AlterG and Amanda and Allison for having me. I'm profoundly just grateful to be associated with your great organization, and I'm very happy to do this stuff. It's so fun for me to chat with all of you out there in PT land about AlterG, all the great things that it does, and the fabulous things that your practice can move into by having an AlterG and doing some great things along with your office. Today, we're going to talk about from zero to faster than before, AlterG trained athletes. And I've got a fun little show for you. Won't last too long, maybe 35 or 40 minutes. I'd love to have your questions. So please, please interact. It's so much more fun when you interact, both for me, and it's great for Amanda as well. We can answer them on the fly if they're hot button topics, or we'll definitely spend some time at the end of our workshop today and answer just anything and everything you need to know about your AlterG or get an AlterG and how to use it and what to do. So without any further ado, I'm Kevin Rausch, and I am super happy to come to you today to talk to you about AlterG and how to take patients to a new place. That's my family there on the screen in our home in Dana Point, California. My wife, Chrissy, my boy, Cody Wyatt, and my girl, Evangeline Lilly, 10 and 7, respectively. I've been a PT for about 14 or so years. So many gray hairs, about 14 or so years as a PT, owned a practice for about 12. My practice is called Rausch Physical Therapy. We're located in Laguna Niguel, California, Southern California, close to Disneyland for those of you who aren't from here. And we specialize in outpatient sports orthopedic type PT. Our PT office, it's a cool one, I gotta admit, I love it. I'm super happy to come here every morning, but we do loads and loads of PT. We have 8 PTs on staff. We average about 400 plus visits a week for PT. We have a great massage therapy wing. We have a performance lab, that AlterG kind of cornerstones. We have a yoga and Pilates studio just around the hall there. So it's a big place, about 10,000 square feet. And we host a lot of fun workshops and a lot of great things to support our active and local wellness communities and fitness communities. So great place to be. Got a couple other fun things that we do here at Rausch PT. One is Perform PT, which is our newest and latest adventure, which does billing and coaching and marketing services for other PT practices. And it's just a great opportunity for us to get a chance to meet all of you in PT land. And get a chance to help you improve your businesses and do some great things with AlterG and great things for your practice too. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to make this as practical and applicable as we possibly can. Number one, we'll talk about utilizing AlterG in your daily office. Probably the number one question I get. Number two, we'll talk a couple cases. And I've broken it up into 3 very distinct patient cases that I've actually personally been involved with from a rehab standpoint and been the treating PT on all 3 of these cases. So it's kind of fun. These people are near and dear to my heart, and it's just, it's great info. And then we'll leave it with some treadmill tips to roll with, and then we'll open it up to questions after that. So if you're into it, I'm into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, please stop me. Please ask questions and please engage. It's just so much fun when you do. So AlterG in daily practice. I hope a lot of you guys have one. If you don't, you should. But AlterG is a great tool that should be utilized with, man, almost each and every single case and single patient that your office treats, but for sure, every single lower extremity patient. And when I say lower extremity, I'm talking like chest down, like really, because the gait analysis, the fitness, the gait training, the safe environment that your patient will get inside of the treadmill, it's not replicable in anything but AlterG. And your patient, they're coming to you looking for the best. And if it just sits over there in the corner and they never get a chance to try it, do you ever wonder if they ask in their head, hey, how come I don't get to go on AlterG, but all those guys do? Like, they're never going to verbalize that to you, but trust me, they're wondering why, what's wrong with them and why can't they get on it? So just end that wonder and get them on. It's fun, it's exciting. There's multiple different ways you can structure their visit with AlterG. You can make it part of their rehab visit. And yes, it is a billable code for either therapeutic exercise or neuroeducation, neuro-re-ed, that's fine. You can make it part of the visit. You can make it a special visit where they get to do a fantastic gait analysis program, and it's a real special day. You can make it an adjunct to their PT program where maybe insurance pays for their normal PT stuff, and AlterG might be an add-on to their PT visit that's more of a cash-based revenue type system. That's kind of the mentality that we apply here at Roush PT. It works for us, it might not work for you, but there's a lot of different modalities that you can get your patients engaged with and talking about AlterG and build your treatment programs to bring AlterG into them. It's not rocket science here, guys. What it is just talking about it a lot, utilizing it a lot, and you'd be surprised at how fast the fire gets lit once you really begin to utilize it on a regular and consistent basis. Now, don't get me wrong, your team that surrounds your PT hub, maybe it's your office manager, clinic director, that kind of thing, y'all need to kind of get together and create a system for the patient's experience on AlterG. And that kind of goes back to whether or not the AlterG is part of the billable of a PT visit, or is AlterG an outside add-on. Those are decisions that your individual practice needs to make. And no clinic is going to be exactly alike on what they should do with that. But once you make your decision and you progress, make sure that the system is clinic-wide, and then it's clear, and then it's concise, and then it's consistent for each and every single patient that comes into your office. So there's got to be a program behind it. You can't just stick it in the corner and expect it to blossom and succeed. It doesn't work like that. Nothing does. But if you put some thought into it, create the system around it, and get people excited about it. Shoot, I tell my PTs, set your goals for the patient, short-term goals for the patient to end up in AlterG. You know, like if you've got somebody who comes in with, I don't know, shin splints, for instance, you're going to say, hey, day one, we're going to work on getting rid of pain. We're going to get rid of swelling, all this stuff. But my mission for you, patient A, is that next Wednesday, when you're here with us again, I want you to feel good enough and do your home exercises well enough that we can get you on AlterG and we can get you back to running next week. I know it's early, but it's awesome. AlterG is amazing. I want to do this with you. Are we united in this decision? Patient's going to say yes every time. They want to run. They want to get back to doing what they like to do. But you need to engage it. You need to build it into the program. You need to talk about it a lot. And your PTs, the staff members of your team, they need to know it's their job to do it. And if they don't, it's not going to be utilized. And you, the purchaser of the equipment, is going to go like, well, I bought this stuff and it's sitting there, but you guys don't use it. What happened? You need to build a system so that they can engage it and they can do it. And once you do, I'm telling you, it's freaking phenomenal. It's so cool. Set your goals towards it and use it. Talk about it on a daily basis. It's successful. Trust me, it's successful. We're going to get into the individual cases here. This one's super fun for me. This patient is just, she's fabulous. She comes with just a load of chronic issues, histories of pain, a lot of misdiagnosis, a lot of bad treatment, some by PT, some by chiro, some by acupuncture, all this stuff. She's essentially been a failed patient. not necessarily her fault, but a failed patient for years. And when I met Amber, no, you HIPAA fanatics, that's not her real name. When I met Amber, I think it's probably 4 years ago now, she was in the hurt box. She was a young mom. She was like on the verge of tears the entire first visit, and for that matter, the first couple visits. She had a chronic history of thoracic and lumbar pain. Nobody has ever been able to tell her why she has pain or what it's from. Nobody's ever been able to fix it for her, but all she knows is that she hurts. She can't play with her kids. She struggles to be a mom. She struggles to do all of the other things that she needs to do on a weekly basis and a daily basis. But her goal is to run a 5K like all of her other friends in her mom groups and in her other cohort circles do. And for me, PT, like, man, this is exactly why I became a PT. I want to take somebody who hurts and who's depressed and downtrodden and just can't. This is the person I want to succeed with. This is the person I want to put all of my energy into. This is the person I want to pour every ounce of my expertise into, making them better. So the first part of her treatment is probably just like what you do with your patients. Lots of hands-on work, lots of soft tissue work, lots of re-education from posture and movement and coaching and stuff. All the bread and butter of what PT is. Tissue work, joint work, posture work, corrective exercises. That's absolutely where we started. But as I started with Amber, what I did was I seeded in very specific opportunities for her to jump on AlterG, because I knew she wanted to run a 5K eventually. She's nowhere close to starting, but eventually she wanted to run a 5K. So we started by, sometimes we would just walk forwards and walk backwards on AlterG as part of her therapeutic exercise program. Sometimes warm up, sometimes cool down, sometimes right in the middle of treatment. But we just started with walking. We didn't even do it every time, but we did it a couple days per week. It got her used to moving. It got her used to the treadmill. She liked the treadmill. She wanted fitness. She wanted exercise. And it was a great way to introduce it to her. We progressed. We continued with tissue work. We continued with joint work. We continued to progress her exercise program. And she got better. She did not get better fast, but she got better. And we expect that, right? We're PTs, we get people better. It's just what we do. And she got better, but it took her a long time. In fact, it took her years. This was a patient that was on my schedule, very committed, very dedicated. I think she was with me for 1.5, maybe 2 years, me directly. And then she actually transitioned on to another PT in my office after that. But she was with me for 1.5 to 2 years. And not every visit was great, y'all. We had some rough ones. We had some ones where she got worse. We had some ones where she got better. We had some ones where she hated me. But that's kind of part of the rehab process and part of the rehab cycle. But Amber, she was fabulous. She's young, she likes social media. She took a bunch of Facebook pictures. She did a bunch of Instagram work. She kind of documented her journey. She tagged our office, she tagged our business, she tagged all these things. We probably got 10, if not 15 new patients just from her social media documentation of her journey in our office, whether it was exercises or how she was feeling or her time on the treadmill. That's not a picture of her there for all of you HIPAA fanatics out there. But she did a great job at documenting her journey. So we got free publicity via her on the treadmill with all of her circle of friends. It was fabulous. In fact, it's a dream come true. It's exactly what social media is kind of for from a business perspective. She also was a member of our AlterG Run Club for at least 2 years. She might even still be. I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while, but she might even still be. She's been a wellness member in my office, and she gets massages on a regular basis from my RX massage team. And I'll kind of fast forward to the end here for you, but she literally runs 5Ks for fun now. So mission accomplished, pain goes away, smile returns, she's a mom again, she's vibrant, she's active in her community, she's there with her kids. She runs 5Ks while she's on vacation now. She was just on a cruise in the Caribbean. She sent me a picture of her 5K while she was on vacation. It was awesome. But the journey started with seeding AlterG in the beginning of her care and letting her get used to it. By the middle point of her care, by the time I thought her back could handle it, we were starting to do some light walking and running intervals. And we'd start with like literally a 30-second run. She was gassed. 30-second run, 2-minute walk, if not a 5-minute walk. And we just play with these variables. And as she felt better and got better, we'd progress to the next step. And I would outline, I don't know if you can see it there, but on the screen, there's a glass window right behind the picture of AlterG there. And we actually write down the patient's exercise programs on AlterG on the window. So they know what their workout is on the AlterG window there, and they can just kind of do it themselves. So I delineated her workout, created her intervals, adjusted them as she progressed. And she literally went from struggling to walk without pain to running a 5K. I know she's run a 10K as well, and I think she's going to run a half marathon this year. So she's there. And it was all because we just progressed with great intervals all the way through. She's happy. She is a full-on ambassador of our brand and ambassador of our practice because of her experience throughout the entirety of her time here. She started as a PT patient. She ended up being an AlterG client. She ended up being a massage client. And now she's an ambassador, and she sends so many people to our office because of the things we were able to do and the experiences she was able to have that were defined and set out by our office as what we do. And that's how we roll. So very low level, built back up, and now full on runner. Super cool. Case 1. I'm gonna take a quick drink. Case 2. This one's a little bit more out of the box. I'll be honest with you. When this one first came in, it was a referral from a friend of mine, PT, who she had a practice very outside of my area, but her dad actually lived in our area. And she said, hey, my dad just had back surgery, lives real close to you. I want him to come in and I want him to walk on AlterG along with his rehab program. And I said, yeah, of course, we do that. I get it. I think that way too. But I'd never really done it with somebody who had a pretty significant lumbar surgery before. So I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest with you. This is relatively early when we purchased AlterG. A little bit hesitant, but I went forward with it. Great friend of mine, this is her dad, so I naturally want to take care of him. Older guy, not in great shape, definitely not fit, a lot of back pain. I mean, we're talking about multiple failed lumbar surgeries here, lots of nerve issues, lots of weakness issues, lots of problems, and not a great history. But a good guy, well motivated, and was happy to be exercising again. His goal was to return to walking Dana Point Harbor, just down the road here, and he wanted to come back and play with his grandkids. He actually was not even cleared for PT yet when he started with our office. So we didn't treat him right away. He just came in and walked. So I consulted with him, built his walking program. I think we started out at like 10 minutes, real light, real easy, couple minutes forward, couple minutes backwards. And then we just rapidly progressed from there. He took to it very well. He just walked at first and was a patient in our office, or was a client in our office as just an AlterG client before he actually jumped on and began a rehab program with one of our PTs here in the office. So his intro to us is definitely an AlterG first intro, and a patient intro actually second, which is kind of fun. So it does happen, folks. So he was a client, walked a couple months there, finally was cleared by his surgeon to begin some rehab, cleared by his surgeon to begin some rehab, and did great. He continued with his walking program. His PT then took the reins of his walking program and progressed him in his AlterG walking program to match with the strides that he was making in his rehab program, which was awesome and like very, very succinct. And he did really nicely. This is one of our PTs here. His name's Kevin Capita on the left-hand side there. And he did about 3 months worth of rehab. Larry did 3 months worth of rehab work with us. He's been a member of our AlterG run club, or in his case, walking club member with us for at least a year, maybe a couple more. And currently, he is a Pilates and a yoga member in our Pilates studio, which is just next door. So I want you to see that the steps in the journey that the patient or the clients makes, they're important. And it's important that you, the practice owner or manager, that realize that is that you don't want your patients to come into your office, get their rehab for 12 visits or 14 visits, whatever your clinic goal is, and then leave. It's a mistake. I don't know about you, but I actually hate the word discharge. I'd much rather use the word transition, because we all work pretty hard at obtaining new clients and new patients. And it always just boggles my imagination as why we as PTs, the good-hearted, kind, empathetic souls we are, constantly bring people in, get them better, and then say, see you later. I don't think that's good business, folks. I think your practice should have methods and very distinct ways to onboard new patients, make them better, give them opportunities to progress, give them opportunities to not just get better and progress, but maybe even go further than what brought them there from the first place. Maybe even improve their health and their wellness, maybe even improve their life by the things that either you offer directly in your business, or maybe you network with a group that is in the same shopping center as you. I mean, you don't have to have everything in your practice unless you want to, but you should network and work with individuals that surround your practice that have the same thoughts and philosophies like you do, so that your patient can be directed by you, the PT, into the other areas where they can continue their journey. For us, in this case with Larry, he started with AlterG, he wound up on the PT table, he continued with AlterG, and then he continued with yoga and Pilates in our yoga and Pilates studio. So there's a life cycle for the patient that, in my opinion, needs to be looked at quite directly from your practice's point of view. And if your life cycle is 6 to 12 weeks with your patients, it's too short. They haven't loved you enough yet. And they need to be coached and guided and directed to improve their lifelong wellness journey, not just rehab their knee issue or Achilles tendonitis, whatever that might be. So sorry I went off a little tangent there, but that's definitely my focus, and it's definitely what we end up coaching most of our clients on. And what you need to understand is that this guy, Larry, on your screen right there, he's a fan for life now. He came in barely able to walk, and now this guy does like level 2 yoga classes and level 2 Pilates classes and is keeping up with people like half of his age. It's stinking awesome. And if you really look at what you as the PT are meant to do for somebody's life, it's that. It's not just rehab their knee. It's engage their health and engage their wellness and teach them and help them to be better long-term, not just make their knee feel better. That's my soapbox for the day. Next one, case 3. I think we're doing okay on time here. What do we got? 12:26, good. We have an Ironman. This is kind of my area of specialty, is working with endurance athletes, runners, cyclists, triathletes, that kind of thing. That's who I do and who I work with. This guy's name is Ron, 43 years old. Believe it or not, that is full on prime time for Ironman. Local business owner, in shape guy, 43 years old. A very, very successful local Ironman triathlete. He came in the middle of his Ironman season. He was, of course, told by his physician, no more running and no more Ironman, which, if you've ever worked with a runner or a triathlete before, you realize that that just doesn't work. Honestly, he didn't even need to stop. He just needed to be treated well. I'm sure you guys experience this stuff with your local physicians as well. They're always the first one to say, stop running, stop living, stop doing the things that you like. Just sit on the couch and take these medications that I'm gonna give you. No, it's stinking terrible. Give them away and give them an opportunity to be successful and coach them through this injury process. That's what you get to be, PTs. You get to be an awesome injury coach. And this guy was fabulous. Local guy, successful fellow, Ironman distance triathlete, long history of Achilles tendonitis. I put a lot more on there because, it was like Achilles with some plantar fascia stuff. It was some IT band stuff. I think I probably fixed his sacrum and his innominate a bunch of times because he was loose and sloppy there also. But same kind of thing. We prepped him, got his tissues in order, got his tissues softened up, restored his joints range of motion, got him a little bit stronger, probably in the glutes, improved his hip mobility, changed a couple things in the way he was sitting and the way he was working. I coached him through how specifically he still could train even though his Achilles was hurt. He could definitely swim. He could definitely cycle. We made a couple modifications to his cleat to allow him to cycle without pain. And as he progressed from a tissue standpoint, we were able to transition him into an AlterG program. Now, this one's high level, so this one's fun for me. The more detailed, the more high level, the more successful the client is, the more you have to think and try to work through what they're really getting to. And that's where my brain really gets turned on and gets excited. So for me, this one's prime time. We literally took his coach's program, transitioned his coach's running program into an AlterG running program that I kind of guided and utilized. And we began to simultaneously continue to rehab his Achilles and fix all the other impairments that he had at the same time as we got him back to running. Like, quite frankly, he was running, I think, 4 days a week in the clinic on AlterG. Don't get me wrong. This guy sweats like a garden hose. It was rough in there. It smelled. It was super hot. I literally had to go buy an industrial fan for this guy to allow him to run and to train in AlterG. He had to change shorts halfway through his run because he got his AlterG shorts too wet. We had to go through another one. It's a little much. I'm sorry for the visuals. But we had an aide there on site, refill his water bottle, give him another towel, provide those things for him. His experience was top notch. It was awesome, in fact. He got rehab, he ran, he had somebody to do this stuff for him. We finished after his long runs with ice and stim and laser to improve his healing process and to just treat his tendons very nicely. And the cool part was he succeeded. He was able to take his coach's defined running program. I helped him transition it into an AlterG program with some great weight-bearing percentages and such. And we were able to bridge him back up to being able to make his race on time. I think he literally started running at like 60% body weight a couple months before his A race. And by the time he was ready for A race, he was alternating between inside runs and outside runs, Alter-G and concrete, right? So he's ready. And we just progressed him just very gradually. In this progression, we would identify what he was running at, body weight percentage-wise. We'd identify his interval. And he was not allowed to progress on his interval unless he was able to do his runs for the week without any pain. So the pain was absolutely our guide. And then it was my assessment as to what his Achilles looked like, felt like, and acted like after the run. So it's kind of pain and my hands-on assessment of what his tissues were telling me after he ran, and he succeeded. He had a couple down weeks, don't get me wrong. No rehab process looks like that. There's always the little ups and downs as they go. But he succeeded and he did very, very well. So he was a patient, multiple month patient. He was an Alter-G client, went through the entire progression sequence with Alter-G, started at 60%, got all the way up to 100% and ran outside. And we used small intervals in moving forward with him. And that's, I think, a fabulous key to the program is utilizing the treatment, the hands-on bread and butter of PT, and utilizing the Alter-G treadmill to coincide and to match what they're able to handle from a treatment perspective and from a tissue perspective. Because like Alter-G just gives you a great chance to really meet the needs of runners or triathletes. You don't really have to tell them no anymore. You just have to be creative enough to say, hey, I know it hurts outside, but I think you can run really, really well inside. And if you can run without pain and I can manage and mitigate your tissues, we can keep you in shape, we can keep you successful, and we can keep you ready to race, even though you're running on this treadmill and even though you're still, quote unquote, a bit hurt or a bit injured. And this guy was able to do it. That's a picture of him there. And that's our clinic tagline, is get you there. But he was cool enough and kind enough to actually wear our Roush PT triathlon kit, to put a couple stickers on his helmet and that kind of stuff, because he was such a fan of what we were able to do. He's still a patient when he needs it. He knows that he's got immediate and direct access to both PT and the treadmill at any time. And he now knows that he doesn't have to listen to the conventions of you must stop running before you get better. That's hogwash, guys. Or you must stop walking before you get better. That's junk. You can run, you can walk, you can stay in shape as you rehab at the same time. These are okay things. And you as PTs, you get to control it. You get to be the one that makes the fine-tunes adjustments to his program. You get to be the ones that changes the intervals from 1 minute run and 2 minute walk to 2 minute run and 1 minute walk. That's your bread and butter kind of clinical decision-making pathways that are so exciting, and you can structure it so well with your patients. By the time you start doing it right, they literally hang on your every word. If you do it right, they will listen to you. They will crave your analysis of how they're running. They will crave your attention to the fine details and progressions and regressions, because it shows your patients that you're really paying attention, that you really care, and that you're really, really good at what you do. And that's what I think we want as PTs, right? We definitely want to care. We want to be great at what we do, and we want to be really successful for the patients that we treat. And Alter-G gets to be a great, great tool and catalyst to taking what your current rehab programs look like and pushing them to the next level by integrating what the treadmill allows you to do with injured and hurt patients. I mean, you just simply can't do it without this tool. I couldn't tell you how I rehab runners today without my history with Alter G. You don't know where I'm looking, but I'm looking at the treadmill right now across the hall. You can't successfully restore mechanics. You can't successfully manage patient treatment in 2018 without these necessary tools to bridge the gap, to get them to transition and to help them stay in shape, stay fit, and move faster. It's awesome, guys. So I hope that kind of leads it to you. We've got 3 very distinct opportunities in which patients have gone from chronic pain to 5Ks, from back surgeries to walk in the harbor, and in this last case, from chronic soft tissue issues to Ironman. I mean, what greater stage than success of a patient treatment than a full-on Ironman? If you don't know what that is, it's a 2-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile run. It's a big deal. And to think that we as a PT got to play a little bit of a role in that it's awesome, guys. That's the heart and soul of PT right there. It's what we do. It's why we spent all that money going to PT school. It's why you sat through all those classes for so long. It's to be able to make that kind of an impact and leave that kind of an impression on your patient. It's cool. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's why I do these webinars. It's why I'm so passionate about PT and PT business and all the things that I get to do. My passion is fueled by cases just like that. And it's so fun. I'll leave you with a couple tips. And please, now's a great time to start asking your questions and to engage here. As you type them in, when I finish this slide, I will absolutely get through them and answer them one by one for you. And I know, Amanda, you'll help me with that as well. A couple tips to roll with. That's me. You'll notice all the gray hair. Number 1, talk about it. Talk about it with your patients. Talk about it to the people you work with. Talk about it with your PTs. My PT team is literally hosting their weekly PT meeting right now, and they're talking about Run Right and Alter G. I'm watching them do it right now. Talk about it amongst yourselves, amongst how do you build a program? What does this look like? Can I use it for that? Set your goals towards it for your patients. Don't you dare let this awesome tool hold your foam rolls or be a jacket holder. I've seen it. It's terrible. You've got such a great thing at your disposal to make a fantastic difference in your patients' lives. Excuse me. But engage it. Set your goals towards it. Talk about it often. Make it your clinic policy that every single lower extremity patient gets on the treadmill. It's ours. It works great. At least one visit of every single patient's experience at Roush PT is on Alter G. Now, what that visit's consisted of is completely up to the PT. When it happens is completely up to the PT. We don't care when it happens or what it's used for. But they have to introduce the patient to this awesome technology and to this amazing experience in our office here. And it helps kind of bridge the gap to walking programs, to running programs, to weight loss programs. Most of the patients take a picture of themselves and put it on social media, tag us in it, free publicity, free advertising, introduce us to a whole group of people we've never met before. Guys, it does it awesome. You can make it special. Set your goals towards it. Make the treadmill day a special day. Take a picture of them, help them out, and just integrate it into the patient's care. Talk about it, integrate it, put them on it, build systems around it, actively engage what your patients really want, which is absolutely the best of the best. Every single person that's on your schedule wants the best of the best. They want it in you. They want it in your staff. They want it in your front desk. They want it in your Alter G. They want it in every aspect of their healthcare. This is your opportunity to really give it to them. pet peeve of mine, please keep AlterG clean and show it off. This thing needs to be like front and center of your office. Not only talk about it, make it look good, make it special, point it out when you're doing your new patient tours. If you don't do new patient tours, you should. Point it out, engage it, set goals towards it, and trust me, when you eat, breathe, sleep, and live patient rehab with AlterG treadmill, it's an awesome opportunity for you to engage and for you to improve what your clinic can do for its patients. I really appreciate y'all joining me and Amanda and AlterG today. Again, AlterG, thank you so much for your confidence and your trust in me, and I very much appreciate the relationship and the partnership. You guys are an awesome and growing field in PT. You push us as PTs better than any device or anything that has ever been created to help us rehab patients. So on behalf of all the PTs, thank you, AlterG. I appreciate it greatly.
Well, and thank you, Kevin. I can say that I know many PTs are passionate about what they do, and that's why they do it, but you definitely include all of your passion in the presentations you give for us and for everyone else. So thank you for joining us today. We do have a couple of questions from the audience. And as Kevin mentioned, if you have any additional thoughts or questions that you'd like to share, you can put them in the chat box or in the Q&A box. I believe only Kevin and I can see the Q&A, so if you're embarrassed or shy, feel free to put them in the Q&A and no one else will see them. And we'll go ahead and get started with some of those. What is the public willing to pay for the AlterG Run Club in your experience?
Oh, okay, cool. AlterG Run Club, again, for us, this is a cash-based system, not involved with patient care or insurance care at all. AlterG Run Club is kind of separate for us. And we have two packages for AlterG Run Club members. Number one is $99 a month, and it is an auto recurring charge through our scheduling system. 99 bucks a month, you schedule your own AlterG sessions and your time, and AlterG is there waiting and ready for you. That's option one. The second way you get onto AlterG's Run Club is by being a wellness member in our office. Again, another monthly subscription gets you a free massage and a bunch of other discounts in our office. And if you are a wellness member, that same Run Club for you is only $25 a month. So a couple different ways to get on it. And that's what what our experience is, the public is willing to pay roughly $100 a month for unlimited use of the treadmill. I hope that answers it for you.
I think that answered it perfectly. Thank you. Can you talk a little bit more about add-on services and how that works in your clinic?
Yeah, so we do offer a host of things at Roush PT that are, I guess, not traditional PT and definitely not quote unquote covered by your insurance. There's a lot. Let me just ramble them off. Custom foot orthotics, AlterG, Bike Right, Run Right, Throw Right, Pilates, yoga, massage, ART. That's 9. I think there's another one. So all of these things, they are quote unquote wellness services that surround our PT practice and our PT visits. All of these things are kind of controlled and guided by your PT, and the PT will actually let you know, the patient, when you're ready for these next services and these next opportunities. Some people come just directly and off the street to obtain those services, and some people are guided and directed by their PT to engage in Pilates or engage into yoga. Did that answer it? I feel like I got lost on that one.
I think you answered it. If the person who asked that needs any more clarification, go ahead and message me, please.
Okay.
The next one, actually, I find really interesting. Do you have your PTs use the AlterG?
Yeah, no, and I mean that directly. Our PTs, when we onboard a new PT in the office, the PT themselves has to get on AlterG. because I don't think you can describe it and utilize it and work with it unless you yourself feel it, play with it, get comfortable with it, and use it. So part of our onboarding system for a brand new PT is a couple AlterG sessions where they figure out how to use it and integrate it and kind of get their minds working with it. We literally train them on how to integrate it and use it in their practice, right? Then as they begin their practice and they begin their patient schedule, we do require that each and every lower extremity patient is put on AlterG, and there's a visit done on there. So there is an AlterG covered PT session that happens for each and every lower extremity patient. And then it's kind of up to the PT and the patient at that day as to what the next course of action is. If that person is a walker and this is time for them to begin a return to walking program, then the PT will design a return to walking program for them. If they're a runner and it's time to begin a return to running program, then PT designs a return to running program for them that they use and implement with AlterG. Sometimes in the patient's care sequence, this is the transition point in which the PT actually needs a bit more specific diagnosis and analysis on maybe the way that the patient runs. So we call it run right. So quite often a PT in the office will refer their patient to another PT in our office to do a run right or biomechanical running analysis of their patient. The PTs then communicate about what was found in the biomechanical running analysis, and then the originating PT, the referring PT, will then implement and kind of change and mitigate their rehab program based on what the expert PT's running analysis found.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This next question, it has nothing to do with AlterG, but it seems like it's a popular one among our PTs online. What software do you use that allows patients to schedule their AlterG sessions?
Oh, we use a notepad and a pen, and we just have lines across the notepad, and we write the patient's name in. And if we like them, put a happy face.
That's so savvy of you.
No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that. Please don't do that. It's 2018, people. There are loads of computer-based scheduling programs for you. We use MindBody Online to schedule all of our performance lab and to schedule all of our wellness-based services. They're a phenomenal tool. I wish they actually did patient scheduling for PT stuff because their tool is so great. But we use MindBody Online to schedule all of our AlterG visits, massage visits, Pilates visits, all that kind of fun stuff.
Great, thank you for that recommendation. And I think that we are almost wrapping up with questions. As I said, if you have any, feel free to shoot them over and we can get those answered for you either live on here or by email by Kevin or I. This webinar was brought to you by AlterG, in case you didn't hear that, and Kevin Roush over at Roush PT. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. There's a couple of footnotes I just want to share with everyone from today's webinar. The first is that it looks like we had a number of participants log in with the same login link. So if you are joining us using somebody else's link and you would like to get the recording of today's webinar or have access to any of the information we'll be sharing with today's attendees, please email me directly at aglincher, that's AGLINCHER, at alterg.com. Or if you couldn't remember that, you can go ahead and email marketing@alterg.com. Additionally, I want to ask you guys all to save the date and stay tuned for our April webinar. We'll be doing it actually as a follow-up to this on gait analysis and the gait stats that really matter. So you should look forward to that. Brendan Rickard of AlterG will be joining us and hosting that. And Kevin, thank you so much for presenting. Everyone on the line, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to talking with you again soon.
My pleasure, Amanda. Bye, you guys. Have a great day.
Okay, let's talk about the Graston technique here. We have several different options for tools as well as treatment techniques. So we're going to start with the GT1 here. It's a big handlebar-like device. So essentially with the Graston tools, what we want to do initially is you want to use the tool to scan the tissue to try to find your points of fibrosis, meaning areas of scar tissue, areas that might be kind of crunchy relative to areas that don't have any sort of restrictions to them. So the crunchy areas are essentially areas of scar tissue or areas of restrictions that need to be worked on. So we'll get in, we'll scan all the way down through and kind of work our tool all the way down in these sweeping like motions. Okay, feeling for restrictions. Okay, from proximal to distal, from up to down, from down up, distal to proximal, same sort of thing. Okay. Here, this is there. And so at the junction, very typical, the junction of the Achilles and the gastroc, you find a lot of restrictions through here. So with Graston technique, you want to get in, once you isolate your points of restriction, you want to maybe treat for 30 to 60 seconds per lesion. You can get in there, you can do some scoops. Okay. And work the whole area. Achilles, gastroc interface here. You can get in there and do some swivels back and forth. Okay, all the way through. You can do some fanning through here. Okay, and the more I'm on this edge of the device, the more I'm going to be grabbing. It's a little bit more aggressive versus being flatter this way. So, of course, the first couple of times you do this, we're not going to get too crazy. And the amount of, this should not be a painful, experience for our patients. I mean, it's going to be mildly sore as you're working the tissue. Okay, so we tell our patients, if I'm pushing too hard, let me know. Our intention is not to bruise through here. Some people get redder. They get more of this kind of a diffuse sort of redness is what we're looking for. We're not looking for a lot of blotchiness that occurs in here. If that happens, we're probably going a little bit too vigorous. Okay, so 30 or 60 seconds per lesion. We kind of work our way down through here, through the lower Achilles. When it gets into this area through here, for Achilles problems, for plantar fasciitis, we can actually grab GT4, and sometimes you can just kind of start them in there and just do some some sweeps back and forth along the hollow. Okay, all the way through here, switch, same sort of thing. I can scan first, I can sweep for treatment second. Okay, more sweeping motions through here. Okay, and then you can place them down, and then we can actually start to incorporate some more advanced motions as well. We start to use pin and glides. So, for example, we can go back to the calf over here, and Luke, let's just have you up and down with your ankle. Okay, just keep on going just like that. So I can grab that junction up in here, okay, and push through. Okay, and all the way down. It's a little slower, Luke. Okay, all the way up first, and then all the way down. Push. Good. And back up. So pin it and glide through. Okay, pin and glide. Okay. And also do a pin and stretch. We just kind of hold that little spot there. So come all the way up this way again, and then push down through, and all the way down through. Good. And back up. So this is definitely much more of an aggressive treatment. Grab that tissue a little bit more, a little bit better with the tool to get the stretch of the tissue. Okay. Same sort of thing with GT4 down on the Achilles. So same idea, up like that, and then back down, and then pin and slide all the way through. All the way down. Same idea, all the way down through. Okay. Same thing over here. Okay. Push. Good. Grab it and stretch it on through. Slide right through that tissue. All right. Then when it comes down to getting into the foot, you have several nerves that course down through the tarsal tunnel through here. The medial calcaneal nerve can get entrapped through here. The tibial nerve courses through here as well. So we're getting in, and same sort of idea, doing sweeps around the tarsal tunnel is always a good idea. You get in and work all that tissue through here. Okay, scanning, trying to find points of restriction. And we can certainly get in and do, pin and glides through here as well. Okay, as he's moving his foot back and forth, you can put it on stretch. And do your sweeps and your scoops in here. Okay. All the way down through. What I like to do also is take a belt just have you bend your right knee, Luke, for me, and stabilize the end of the leg. Hold that position there, and you can rest your right foot down, and then get in and work the plantar fascia. We're at GT5, we have many options. This will be a little bit less invasive because it's more of a concavity versus the GT4 is a convexity. It's going to get in a little bit deeper and a little bit, I guess more sharply against the convexity instead of the concavity. Okay, so same idea. You can get in here and you can scan, scan for lesions, medial fascia, central, lateral. You want to work the system all the way through that way. Same sort of idea all the way down this way. You okay, Luke? Making sure he's not going through too much pain here. I mean, like I said, it's a little bit of soreness is okay, but we're not trying to get them sweating on the table here. So, and then we can start doing pin and glide. So same idea, Luke, up and down here, then go a little bit slower, back up. Okay, you can go over, grab it and slide. Okay, pin it and glide. Okay, all the way through. And up a little slower. All the way up and all the way down. Good. So it's just a matter of trying to coordinate this with the patient. And then same thing coming back down this way. And then, okay, then push up against me. Good, down this way. And back down. Good. Back down. All the way through. So your options are unlimited as far as what you can do for directions and motions. You could actually get in, and you could have done this up into the calf as well. You can start doing these little swirls, okay? But same thing, get in there, and you're trying to work things in 3 dimensions. Instead of just up and down, you can get in there and start doing, this swirling type of motion. If you find a point of restriction, it's not really, releasing like you'd want it to, you can get in deeper and do this as well. Okay, all the way through. And that's pretty much it. So it's a very, comprehensive approach to treating, Achilles pain, plantar fasciitis. You want to treat the calf, the Achilles, the hollow, tarsal tunnel, foot, all the way down through, all the way down to the first ray, and that's good. Thanks.
Here at Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho, we have adapted a golf conditioning program based on the Butch Harmon principles in his program. For those who don't know who Butch Harmon is, he is the golf instructor that led Tiger Woods to all those championships years ago. Today, he still works with those championship caliber players. The program addresses fundamental flexibility and core strength. It's a 10-session program in which each session lasts about an hour. The sessions are usually spread out over 4 to 6 weeks. On the first day, we do a quick screen to look for limitations and impairments. We then go ahead and measure your club head swing speed. After collecting this information, we tailor a program specific to you and your needs that will help facilitate fundamental flexibility and enhance your core strength. As visits continue, we progress to a more arduous program that will facilitate more advanced gains. On the final visit, we remeasure your club head swing speed and expect anywhere from 3 to 10 miles an hour of increase. For each increased mile an hour, you will equate that to 3 yards of distance on your shot. And this translates to all your shots, not just your drive. Not only will you be seeing dramatic improvements in your golf game, but you will also reduce the risk of injury. And your body will feel much better when you finalize that last round.
Hello, my name is John Wilson, Director of Instruction here at Juniper Hills Country Club. As a teacher, I see it all the time with my students, their inadequate flexibility and strength in the golf swing. Golfers tend to have a harder time adhering to proper swing mechanics with poor flexibility and poor strength. The truth is that the most important piece of equipment when it comes to golf is our body. If a golfer has restrictions in their hips or lacks the ability to rotate through their trunk, this may lead to poor mechanics, which affects their ability to improve their game and ultimately can lead to injury. I myself have experienced Corey's golf conditioning program, and I can verify that it addresses key components of your physical health that not only prevent injury but also improve your game. Golf demands a high level of pain-free flexibility. If one or more of your joints lacks its range of full motion, then it may reduce your ability to reach your full potential. Proper mechanics coupled with adequate strength and flexibility will result in increased swing speeds and ultimately increase the length of every shot you hit. What's great about Corey's program is he can tailor it to your individual needs. If you are serious about taking your game to the next level or just want to improve your overall golf fitness, then go talk with Corey and his team today. You'll be glad you did.
Let Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho improve your game. of these look familiar? Are you suffering through pain and avoiding activities? Stop missing out on life. Take action today and come see Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho and get back to living. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho should be your choice for physical therapy. Just like choosing your own physician, you can choose who provides your physical therapy. So tell your physician you want to go to Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho. Fortunately, in Idaho, we also have direct access, which means for most insurances, you could start therapy without seeing a physician. Come see us at any one of our 2 locations. PTSI has available appointments within 24 hours. Finding the right specialist for your orthopedic needs just got easier.
Hi, my name's Kevin Smith. I work out to the site, and I'm going to be 60 years old this year. When I first came to Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho, I was experiencing back pain and a constant burning sensation in my left hip. Golf was a significant passion of mine. The pain was beginning to interfere with my game. Now, after a few weeks of physical therapy, not only am I pain-free, but my golf game has improved dramatically. The new strength and flexibility has added distance to all my shots, and I am able to play a complete round of golf without any pain. Thanks to Corey and his team for getting me back in the game.
Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The Alter G, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho has moved. Our new facility features easy access parking, clean spacious interior, with top-of-the-line equipment and amenities. We have new appointments available within 48 hours. Not sure if physical therapy can help? Ask to schedule a 10-minute consultation at no charge. You'll enjoy meeting our friendly staff and get the answers you seek. Come see what hundreds have already experienced, because life is better without pain. Athletic Performance Specialist of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Now more than ever, in today's youth sports, there is a strong drive for bigger, faster, and stronger. In order to get that competitive edge, athletes are pushing the limits of their bodies. But with that passion also comes increased risk for season-ending injuries. This is why I created APSI. At APSI, we are committed to bringing Southeast Idaho the most advanced evidence-based sports performance training available through innovative equipment and higher-level education. APSI is committed to attaining only the most prestigious degrees and certifications that would allow us to provide the highest quality athletic performance conditioning with optimal outcomes. After a 6-week program, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. APSI is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. APSI programs take aspects of power, speed, strength, and agility to facilitate a comprehensive approach that utilizes innovative equipment and evidence-based research to safely enhance the performance and prevent injuries. Our athletic performance coaches specialize in coaching a vast spectrum of athletes from beginners to the elite who are looking to take their training to the next level. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. If you are a thrower, then throwing speeds before and after our program will be evaluated. If jumping is crucial to excel in your sport, your vertical will also be measured. Of course, speed is essential in all sports, so drills specific to your sport will be evaluated for speed. Our coaches will create a customized exercise program designed to address the deficient areas and to allow the athlete to excel in his or her sport. We designed our programs to give our athletes the competitive edge in any sport to speed past your competitor and power through any opponent. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, separation is in the preparation. Ski season is finally here. Are you ready? Want to become a better skier? Want to enjoy a full day on the mountain without fatigue? How about taking on new challenges while reducing your risk for injury? Then learn about APSI Ski Conditioning Program. At APSI, our strength and conditioning coaches have developed a 6-week program to ensure you are ready for ski season. We have specialized equipment you won't find anywhere else to help you train your muscles in a similar fashion to the challenges presented when skiing. Our power ramp provides eccentric loading to maximize leg strength and joint protection during dynamic activities. In addition, we utilize MVP shuttles to further enhance explosive power and eccentric strength to increase control during moguls and big air landings. Our coaches will tailor the intensity based on your level of conditioning. A series of stretches, plyometrics, resistance training, and balance activities will create peak performance in the muscles and joints used when skiing. So this year, don't be fantasizing about the skier you want to be. Take action and become the skier you've always wanted to. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The AlterG, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself.
Hey, Dr. Pound here with Heal Better Fast. Today we're talking about medieval instruments that help you heal better fast. Just kidding. But they are, kind of, a little bit. It's a technique called the Graston technique. It's basically a muscle scraping technique. Well, we actually scrape the skin over the muscle, essentially to loosen up the muscle, allow it to move more freely, and it's extremely helpful for people with restrictions. Their muscles aren't moving as good, and they stretch and stretch but don't have relief. And so we get in there and kind of dig out the muscle, help it move a little bit better, fire some proprioceptors in there, and oftentimes it'll leave like a little bruise. Actually, it kind of looks like a little hickey at first, but then it will turn into a bruise. And but people feel great after it, and it's really good for someone with maybe plantar fasciitis, shin splints, tennis elbow, carpal tunnel syndrome, whiplash, a lot of these repetitive stress injuries. There's a lot of inflammation on the muscles and tendons, and people don't get relief just with anything else. This is a great technique to try. Now, it is a little time consuming, although the technique itself is really quick. We're going to demonstrate on Elizabeth shoulder the Graston technique. And so it's usually, we don't want to scrape the bone, we're going to go to the muscle. The shoulder is probably the most common area I actually treat. So today what we're going to do, again, we're going to start by treating the trap, the muscle that comes down here through the neck and then down through the shoulder blade. Underneath the shoulder blade there's a muscle called subscapularis. This muscle's a doozy. It does take some digging to get to, but it is extremely helpful for people with, again, shoulder pain. We're going to dig through here, go through levator scap, maybe a little bit of rotator cuff muscles, the teres minor and supraspinatus and infraspinatus, the four muscles that make up the rotator cuff, are always tight. In fact, if I press here, what face is she making? That again.
Yeah, that's a special spot.
That's a Malsine muscle. Well, this, just could be repetitive use. So here we go. We're going to start off with first what we call, or what I use is kind of like a diagnostic. So this is basically, looks like, a butter knife. We're essentially going to scrape around and see what we can feel. This emollient is a mixture of beeswax and mineral oil. It helps the instrument glide along the skin so it doesn't actually hurt. We're going to get a little bit of that on there and go to work. So we're going to start with the trap. Put it on the skin. And what do you feel?
It just feels like your finger, like a massage.
Oh, it's rougher than a massage. Come on, what kind of massage?
It's really tight, I guess, and I can't feel it.
What I feel is kind of like a gritty feeling.
Really?
And so, yeah, you can hear it, actually.
I can hear that, yeah.
So this is a little smoother. Yeah, she's probably had a massage before. But here, there's some scar tissue buildup right in the front of the trap.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to start, moving a little bit away. She's really feeling it. And you see where it's actually turning red more? And she's actually moving away as we're working on the supraspinatus, that little rotator cuff muscle that goes up and over and through. Tension through there. Infraspinatus, we're going to come down here. Lower muscle of the shoulder blade. She's starting to wiggle away. She doesn't like this anymore. She's now sorry that she volunteered for this technique. But the most sensitive and important one, there we go, look at her face. You got to get that. Teres minor. She is not acting. This is really how bad it feels. But it feels so good after, I promise.
Oh yeah, that's a special spot.
All right. Next we want to come through here. We're getting the rhomboid. This one's not as bad.
No, that feels amazing.
All right. That's only the first one.
Nice.
There's two others I usually use around the shoulder. This one is, it looks like a tongue depressor. Essentially what we do is to get in deeper, and I'm not going to torture you too much. I will torture you a little bit though. If you volunteered for this. You can get in deeper with this one and really get into those areas that are tight, trying to loosen up the shoulder muscle. It's also good for, again, underneath the shoulder blade, you can get through the rhomboids.
Oh, I feel that. You don't even know that's there, huh?
And then the third one that I usually use in the shoulder, the handlebars. Handlebars are good for getting into the trapezius muscles. You can exert a tremendous amount of force. On someone this small, we won't do that. But for someone who's got huge traps, big delt, get in there, put a lot of pressure, and you can feel the difference on that pressure, right? Mm-hmm. It's also really good if you bring your arm back you can kind of hook it back in here and get in the under part of the shoulder blade. And you can kind of feel how that retracts and bring the whole shoulder blade back, stretch out the shoulder blade just like that. It looks crazy, it is crazy, but it actually helps quite a bit for people who have repetitive stress disorders. So if you are suffering from some shoulder pain or another repetitive stress disorder, you've failed other treatments, you want some help, call me. I'm Dr. Pound, helping you heal better fast.
Your hip consists of two main parts that fit together like a ball and socket: the femoral head at the top of the leg and the acetabulum in your pelvis. Cartilage between the femoral head and acetabulum provides cushioning between the bones and allows for smooth movement. A total hip replacement is usually done when severe damage from arthritis or injury has made it difficult to perform daily activities without severe pain or restricted range of motion. During the procedure, the femoral head and acetabulum are replaced with artificial components called prostheses. An artificial hip prosthesis consists of a cup called the acetabular component and a stem and ball called the femoral component. Before your procedure, you will receive intravenous fluids, antibiotics, and medications to help you relax. Most minimally invasive anterior total hip replacements are done under spinal anesthesia, so you will be awake during your operation but feel no pain. A catheter may be placed in your bladder to drain your urine. Since fluid and blood loss can be significant, banked blood will be prepared in case you require a transfusion. You may have the opportunity to collect and store your own blood in preparation for your surgery. During a direct anterior total hip replacement procedure, you will lie on your back on a specialized table, enabling your surgeon to perform this minimally invasive operation. Your feet will be placed in boots attached to the table, allowing your surgeon to position your legs as necessary to gain access to your hip joint during your operation. A fluoroscopy machine may be used during the procedure to help your surgeon position your prosthesis more accurately. Your surgeon will begin by making a 3 to 6 inch incision near your groin. This incision is significantly smaller than those made during other total hip replacement procedures. He or she will then push aside 2 muscles to expose the joint capsule. No muscles are split or detached during this procedure. After incising the joint capsule, your surgeon will dislocate the femoral head from the acetabulum. He or she will remove any damaged cartilage or bone in the acetabulum, reshape the acetabular socket, and secure the acetabular prosthesis in place using special cement or screws. Turning next to the femur, your surgeon will remove the femoral head, shape the remaining femur to fit the prosthetic stem, and secure the femoral component using cement or other techniques. Once both components are firmly in place, your surgeon will slide the prosthetic femoral head into its acetabular counterpart. Test the movement of your new hip joint and may verify that it is properly positioned with an X-ray. Your surgeon will then close the joint capsule and reposition your muscles. He or she may place a drain in your hip to remove excess fluid and close the incision with stitches or staples. After your procedure, you will be moved to the post-surgical recovery area for monitoring. You will continue your IV fluids and antibiotics for a short time and will be given pain medications as needed. If a catheter was placed, it will be removed. To prevent blood clots from forming in your leg, you will be given a blood thinner, asked to wear compression stockings, and encouraged to begin walking as soon as possible, initially with a walker or cane. Your physician may use a sequential compression device on your legs or feet to further decrease the possibility of developing a blood clot, called a deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, in your leg veins. No hip precautions are necessary. You may sit, bend, and cross your legs however you want. You will be released from the hospital after you can walk up and down stairs, usually after 2 to 4 days. The anterior approach avoids cutting any hip muscles, which may result in increased joint stability, lower risk of dislocation, less pain, and faster recovery.
Hi, I'm Mike Kadar, strength and conditioning coach for the Pittsburgh Penguins, founder and co-creator of a product called CoreStix. I'd like to take a few minutes to describe what CoreStix is, as well as its capabilities and benefits. CoreStix is an upright functional fitness trainer that is ground-based that allows you to do 98% of your exercises while standing. So it's very realistic to anyone and everyone, no matter what profession or sport you're involved in. CoreStix is comprised of a rod selection with 5 different sets, 3 arcs, and a board or a floor mount system that you see in front of you today. Now the capabilities and benefits behind CoreStix include anatomical adaptation, hypertrophy, making your muscles bigger, building strength, turning your strength into power or power endurance. Essentially, you're working on technical and tactical skills such as speed, power, strength, agility, and quickness. If you can move the rods dynamically, what you can work on your energy systems, such as your anaerobic and aerobic system. When it comes to the performance side of CoreStix, you can work on muscle activation overload, develop your stabilizers, develop your global muscles. You can train movements, you can develop your core. You can create individual or sport-specific programs or exercises. We have over 100 different variations of exercises that you can choose from. Maybe you can create your own. You can create circuits with core sticks where you include upper with lower body. You can add holds, tempos, short rest periods, that sort of thing. Core sticks also allows you to develop proper form or body positioning. And finally, you're building functional strength that people and athletes need for everyday living and training, the essentials. Anyway, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy core sticks, and I hope you got something out of the capabilities and benefits behind it.
The Graston technique is a unique method of instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization where we use stainless steel instruments to assess and treat soft tissue dysfunction. The instruments are made of a very dense stainless steel, so as the clinician glides the instruments across the tissue, the abnormal tissue texture will actually be amplified through the instruments into the clinician's hands. So the clinicians are still using their hands, they are just using an instrument between their hands and the tissue to, again, amplify that abnormal tissue texture. So we use the instruments diagnostically to identify areas of restriction or fibrosis or dysfunctional soft tissue. Once we identify those lesions, we can very specifically manipulate that soft tissue with the instruments. It could be uncomfortable, but I would say the Graston technique is actually more comfortable than what is traditionally done with a therapist's hands or fingertips. The treatment edges are very precise, and it allows the clinician to treat this tissue much more specifically than what they typically could do with their own fingertips. So it really is a more comfortable intervention than what is traditionally done manually. Treatment duration really varies by the injury. The longer an injury has been sustained or is there, the longer it will take to recover. So acute injuries typically respond quicker than maybe more chronic injuries. But typically we'll treat patients maybe for about 10 minutes or so with the instruments. Now the technique itself really does incorporate other things other than just the intervention with the instruments. We have patients warm up before they're treated. After the treatment with the instruments, we have our patients exercise. The instrument component, though, like I said, takes about 10 minutes. If we are creating microtrauma or stimulating an inflammatory response, typically we'll treat those patients twice a week. The typical inflammatory stage will last 24 to 48 hours, and we like to have our patients work through that stage before we treat them again. So that typical patient we typically see maybe twice a week or maybe every second or third day. Now we can use Graston technique for other non-inflammatory conditions. So in those cases, we can treat patients on a daily basis. Conditions we think about treating are typical soft tissue injuries. So you think about things like golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, IT band syndrome. But something else I like to point out, typically any orthopedic injury is going to have a soft tissue component to that injury. Now it may be a secondary lesion. For example, think about somebody with arthritis, a condition that mainly affects the joint. Well, you still see soft tissue changes associated with arthritic joints. And so we can treat arthritic joints with Graston technique by addressing the secondary soft tissue lesions in conjunction to what we're doing with the joint. So for the joint itself, we may be doing things like low resistance exercise. But again, for the connective tissue around the joint, treating that connective tissue with Graston technique can help alleviate some pressure on those arthritic joints very successfully.
The AlterG has hands down changed my life and put me back on the streets doing what I love every day.
Using the AlterG has been a really key tool in my battle with Parkinson's.
The AlterG has helped me recover quickly, and actually I'm more competitive now.
My physical therapist recommended the AlterG as a solution to all of the physical challenges that I deal with.
I hyperextended my big toe while I was running. I couldn't sleep at night because even sheets touching my toe just hurt so bad. Just couldn't do anything. The breakthrough of my recovery was when I hopped on the Alter-G, and just being able to walk at a vigorous pace was something that I hadn't felt in a couple months from the injury. At that point forward, I knew that that was going to be the machine for my recovery. And I find it amazing that I'm able to reduce my body weight but still have my same run gait and fluid motion as if I were just running on the track. It just changed the way that I perform. At this time, I'm fully recovered and looking to compete in Ironman Texas.
When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, the neurologist said the thing I could do to help myself was to work on balance. When I'm on the Alter-G, I feel really safe and supported, and I don't have to worry about balance. I can look ahead and just move, and it just feels normal. Thanks to the Alter-G, I can walk to theaters, I can walk to restaurants by using that rhythm that the Alter-G is sort of planted in my brain.
So a little less than a year ago, I was in foot pursuit of a robbery suspect. I was run over by a vehicle. The first thing the doctor said was that I sustained a severe crush injury to my right ankle and foot. And he told me that there was a very good possibility that I wouldn't be able to get fully recovered back to 100%. When I first started using the Alter-G, I was actually about 40% of my body weight. I was able to walk comfortably with an even stride. The best way to describe walking in the Alter-G is almost like you're walking on the moon. Immediately called my wife on the way home and told her I think this is really going to help my recovery and speed everything up. And now I'm back on the streets, I'm doing what I love. Life is good.
I have a weight issue, and one of the most valuable things for me to do in controlling my weight is to be able to move. I never ran in my entire life until I got into the Alter-G. And that feeling of flying on your feet is just astounding. For the first time in my life, I understood how people get addicted to running. I've been able to strengthen my knees, I've been able to strengthen my hips, and it's allowed me to have the confidence that I can climb mountains. And one of the things that I wanted to do was see the mountain gorillas in Rwanda. And I don't think 3 years ago I could have done it. Honestly, the Alter-G has completely changed my life in so many ways for the better. You need to experience it at least once.
Your hip consists of two main parts that fit together like a ball and socket: the femoral head at the top of the leg and the acetabulum in your pelvis. A total hip replacement is usually done when severe damage from arthritis or injury has made it difficult to perform daily activities. During the procedure, the femoral head and acetabulum are replaced with artificial components called prostheses. An artificial hip prosthesis consists of a cup called the acetabular component and a metal stem called the femoral component. Before your procedure, you will receive intravenous fluids, antibiotics, and medications to help you relax. A catheter will be placed in your bladder to drain your urine. Most hip replacements are done under general anesthesia, in which case a breathing tube will be inserted in your throat to help you breathe during the operation. Since fluid and blood loss can be significant, banked blood will be prepared in case you require a transfusion. You may have the opportunity to collect and store your own blood in preparation for your surgery. Your surgeon will begin by making an incision overlying your hip, separating the muscles and ligaments to expose the joint capsule. After incising the capsule, your surgeon will dislocate the femoral head from the acetabulum. He or she will remove any damaged cartilage or bone in the acetabulum, reshape the acetabular socket, and secure the acetabular prosthesis in place using special cement or screws. Turning next to the femur, your surgeon will remove the femoral head, shape the remaining femur to fit the prosthetic stem, and secure the femoral component using cement or other techniques. Once both components are firmly in place, your surgeon will slide the prosthetic femoral head into its acetabular counterpart, test the movement of your new hip joint, and verify that it is properly positioned with an X-ray. Your surgeon will then close the joint capsule, repair the muscles, place a drain in your hip to remove excess fluid, and close the incision with stitches or staples. At the conclusion of the operation, a special device will be temporarily applied to prevent your hip from dislocating. You will then be moved to the post-surgical recovery area until you are stable and awake from the anesthesia. If necessary, you may receive a blood transfusion at this time. You will continue your IV fluids and antibiotics for a short time and will be given pain medications as needed. Your catheter will likely be removed after several days. To prevent blood clots from forming in your leg, you will be given a blood thinner, asked to wear pneumatic compression stockings, and encouraged to begin walking as soon as possible. A nurse or physical therapist will help you get out of bed and use your new hip. Most patients are released from the hospital once they are able to walk with the aid of a crutch or walker.
I thought it was awesome. It's a great new way to work out.
Tried it out, loved it, bought 2 of them.
So the pushing and the pulling and the twisting for the abdominal region, the obliques, just fantastic.
Hi, my name is Craig Cook, and I am the co-founder and co-developer of CoreStix, the upright training system that you see here. It's incredibly versatile. You can use it not only for any user that walks in the door of your club, but also for any type of movement you're trying to strengthen, any part of the body or the body as a system. That's what makes it such a valuable, effective, functional training system.
I loved it. The workout was incredible. In a matter of a couple of minutes, I felt the pump throughout my entire body, from my rhomboids to my calves. I mean, it was everywhere. I can see people from severely deconditioned to 10-year-old aspiring athletes game ready with stuff like this. I'm definitely going to implement a couple of these into my studio. It's going to be a great way to get everybody involved.
Less intimidating than the dumbbells and heavy weights around the gym. It's a great way to work every piece of your body in one piece of equipment. Having the exercise thing laid out for you, you know what you can do next. And that guy was great motivation.
The movement of the bars is all about functional training. It's not working in the same plane of motion. It's working in a variety of different planes that really hits a lot of the sister type muscle groups that we're talking about. You know, you got your primary and secondary movers, so it hits all different sections. Fantastic workout.
This product is amazing. I love training my clients on it. The freedom to move in any direction at any speed in a functional position. It's just been outstanding for me and my clients.
Just an awesome machine. It's really a functional machine, and we're planning on using them in our gym.
We were just talking about boxing, and that's what I do. I think it's fantastic. I can see the way he was torquing and moving, utilizing not only just his legs, but his whole core, developing power in a punch. And there's no doubt you can see that it would generate a lot of power. So I was very impressed.
This is going to be the next Bosu ball, man. Whoever invented this, they're going to have a big name in fitness real soon.
It's done. This thing's insane. I love it. I can't say enough about it.
Here at Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho, we have adapted a golf conditioning program based on the Butch Harmon principles in his program. For those who don't know who Butch Harmon is, he is the golf instructor that led Tiger Woods to all those championships years ago. Today, he still works with those championship caliber players. The program addresses fundamental flexibility and core strength. It's a 10-session program in which each session lasts about an hour. The sessions are usually spread out over 4 to 6 weeks. On the first day, we do a quick screen to look for limitations and impairments. We then go ahead and measure your club head swing speed. After collecting this information, we tailor a program specific to you and your needs that will help facilitate fundamental flexibility and enhance your core strength. As visits continue, we progress to a more arduous program that will facilitate more advanced gains. On the final visit, we remeasure your club head swing speed and expect anywhere from 3 to 10 miles an hour of increase. For each increased mile an hour, you will equate that to 3 yards of distance on your shot. And this translates to all your shots, not just your drive. Not only will you be seeing dramatic improvements in your golf game, but you will also reduce the risk of injury, and your body will feel much better when you finalize that last round.
Hello, my name is John Wilson, Director of Instruction here at Juniper Hills Country Club. As a teacher, I see it all the time with my students, their inadequate flexibility and strength in the golf swing. Golfers tend to have a harder time adhering to proper swing mechanics with poor flexibility and poor strength. The truth is that the most important piece of equipment when it comes to golf is our body. If a golfer has restrictions in their hips or lacks the ability to rotate through their trunk, this may lead to poor mechanics, which affects their ability to improve their game and ultimately can lead to injury. I myself have experienced Corey's golf conditioning program, and I can verify that it addresses key components of your physical health that not only prevent injury but also improve your game. Golf demands a high level of pain-free flexibility. If one or more of your joints lacks its range of full motion, then it may reduce your ability to reach your full potential. Proper mechanics coupled with adequate strength and flexibility will result in increased swing speeds and ultimately increase the length of every shot you hit. What's great about Corey's program is he can tailor it to your individual needs. If you are serious about taking your game to the next level or just want to improve your overall golf fitness, then go talk with Corey and his team today. You'll be glad you did.
Let Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho improve your game. of these look familiar? Are you suffering through pain and avoiding activities? Stop missing out on life. Take action today and come see Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho and get back to living. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho should be your choice for physical therapy. Just like choosing your own physician, you can choose who provides your physical therapy. So tell your physician you want to go to Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho. Fortunately, in Idaho, we also have direct access, which means for most insurances, you could start therapy without seeing a physician. Come see us at any one of our 2 locations. PTSI has available appointments within 24 hours. Finding the right specialist for your orthopedic needs just got easier.
Hi, my name's Kevin Smith. I work out to the site, and I'm going to be 60 years old this year. When I first came to physical therapy specialists of Idaho, I was experiencing back pain and a constant burning sensation in my left hip. Golf was a significant passion of mine. The pain was beginning to interfere with my game. Now, after a few weeks of physical therapy, not only am I pain-free, but my golf game has improved dramatically. The new strength and flexibility has added distance to all my shots, and I am able to play a complete round of golf without any pain. Thanks to Corey and his team for getting me back in the game.
Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The Alter G, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Physical Therapy Specialists of Idaho has moved. Our new facility features easy access parking, clean spacious interior, with top-of-the-line equipment and amenities. We have new appointments available within 48 hours. Not sure if physical therapy can help? Ask to schedule a 10-minute consultation at no charge. You'll enjoy meeting our friendly staff and get the answers you seek. Come see what hundreds have already experienced, because life is better without pain. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. After working with our coaches, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, the separation is in the preparation. Now more than ever, in today's youth sports, there is a strong drive for bigger, faster, and stronger. In order to get that competitive edge, athletes are pushing the limits of their bodies. But with that passion also comes increased risk for season-ending injuries. This is why I created APSI. At APSI, we are committed to bringing Southeast Idaho the most advanced evidence-based sports performance training available through innovative equipment and higher-level education. APSI is committed to attaining only the most prestigious degrees and certifications that would allow us to provide the highest quality athletic performance conditioning with optimal outcomes. After a 6-week program, our athletes are able to jump higher, run faster, throw harder, and be more explosive in order to dominate in their sport. APSI is dedicated to developing highly skilled athletes of all ages to perform at peak levels. APSI programs take aspects of power, speed, strength, and agility to facilitate a comprehensive approach that utilizes innovative equipment and evidence-based research to safely enhance the performance and prevent injuries. Our athletic performance coaches specialize in coaching a vast spectrum of athletes from beginners to the elite who are looking to take their training to the next level. We use specialized testing to precisely measure strength, speed, agility, and power to help determine individual needs by sport. If you are a thrower, then throwing speeds before and after our program will be evaluated. If jumping is crucial to excel in your sport, your vertical will also be measured. Of course, speed is essential in all sports, so drills specific to your sport will be evaluated for speed. Our coaches will create a customized exercise program designed to address the deficient areas and to allow the athlete to excel in his or her sport. We designed our programs to give our athletes the competitive edge in any sport to speed past your competitor and power through any opponent. If you or your child are looking to go from competing to dominating, give APSI a try. Remember, separation is in the preparation. Ski season is finally here. Are you ready? Want to become a better skier? Want to enjoy a full day on the mountain without fatigue? How about taking on new challenges while reducing your risk for injury? Then learn about APSI Ski Conditioning Program. At APSI, our strength and conditioning coaches have developed a 6-week program to ensure you are ready for ski season. We have specialized equipment you won't find anywhere else to help you train your muscles in a similar fashion to the challenges presented when skiing. Our power ramp provides eccentric loading to maximize leg strength and joint protection during dynamic activities. In addition, we utilize MVP shuttles to further enhance explosive power and eccentric strength to increase control during moguls and big air landings. Our coaches will tailor the intensity based on your level of conditioning. A series of stretches, plyometrics, resistance training, and balance activities will create peak performance in the muscles and joints used when skiing. So this year, don't be fantasizing about the skier you want to be. Take action and become the skier you've always wanted to. Athletic Performance Specialists of Idaho is Pocatello's newest gym. Why make the switch? Locally owned by a physical therapist, making each member eligible for free injury consultation. Highly trained staff with degrees in exercise science and certifications for strength and conditioning. Over 40 yards of turf for agility and speed training, with access to 30-foot ramp for power and acceleration training. The Alter G, lessen the wear and tear on your joints while maximizing results. 30 seconds is just too short to tell you how great this place is. Go to our website or come experience it yourself.
TLIF stands for Transforaminal Lumbar Interbody Fusion. The procedure aims to reduce any leg pain that you may have by removing nerve pressure due to bone spurs or disc material. At the same time, the TLIF also aims to ease back discomfort by removal of the damaged disc and insertion of implants to help your bones fuse together.
Hi, I'm Mike Krzyzewski, coach of Duke University men's basketball team. When you hear words like work or hard, don't shy away from them. My players learn to love work when they see results. What's really hard is living in pain, but you don't have to. Consider what your level of play is right now. Now think about how long you can afford to stay that way and still get the job done.
As you prepare for a fusion, your surgeon will want to know your medical history in order to identify anything that could affect safe conditions for anesthesia and bone healing. It's important to pay attention to your nutrition in those weeks leading up to surgery. Diets high in protein, calcium, and vitamin D help in the bone healing process. In addition, patients should stop smoking or chewing tobacco 4 weeks before the surgery and several months after because nicotine impairs bone healing. Alcohol, caffeine, and herbals can cause bleeding problems and should not be taken 1 week before or 2 weeks after surgery. Also, some medications should not be taken prior to or after the procedure, such as anti-inflammatory medicines like aspirin and ibuprofen. Check with your surgeon for recommendations about these. Your physician will also discuss the possible risks associated with back surgery. The main concerns include infection, inadequate bone healing, loosening of the screws or cage implant, or persisting pain after surgery from scar tissue. While all of these risks are rare, any one of them could create a need for future surgery. Be sure to discuss these risks and any additional concerns you may have with your surgeon. During the TLIF procedure, the patient lies face down on a bed designed especially for the procedure. Through an incision on your back, the surgeon begins by accessing the section of the spine that needs to be fused. First, any bone spurs and disc material pressing on the nerve is removed, and the opening around the nerve enlarged. Then the surgeon will remove almost the entire disc between the vertebrae to create a clean space for fusion between the bones. If the disc has collapsed from disease, the vertebrae are moved back into a normal position. The surgeon then prepares the area where the disc was removed so that the spinal implant can be placed for support. After measuring the size of the space, the surgeon inserts an implant made of bone or a synthetic material into the disc space. This implant gives critical support to the spine and aids bone fusion. The surgeon then places bone graft or other special material into the space around the implant to stimulate bone growth, which will take several months. Then, on the back part of the vertebrae, small screws called pedicle screws are inserted into the bone, and connecting rods are inserted into the screws to give the spine extra stability. This holds everything in place as it heals and allows for more activities after surgery. Over time, the vertebrae will grow together or fuse. After surgery, patients typically stay in the hospital 3 to 5 days. While pain varies a few weeks after surgery, you should expect major soreness in your back for the first several days. If the doctor uses bone from the pelvis for the bone graft, you'll also feel soreness in your hip area. Pain is managed with medication for 2 to 4 weeks, and rehabilitation begins in the hospital. A physical therapist will help you get out of bed and walk safely around the hospital. The first couple of days after surgery, patients usually need a walker, and a back brace may also be used when moving. It's important to keep an eye on that incision. If it becomes red, tender, or if there's drainage, alert your doctor. Some minor leg numbness or discomfort is common for a few days, but let your doctor know if it's severe or lasts more than 1 or 2 weeks. During recovery, you will need to limit your activities. Walking will help with healing, but you'll need to avoid heavy housework. You can use ice packs every 4 to 6 hours to help alleviate muscle soreness those first couple of weeks. You may resume driving and sexual activity 4 to 6 weeks after surgery, depending on your condition. Generally, around 6 weeks after your surgery, you can return to work, but your doctor will help you decide the best time to do that. It typically takes about 6 months or more for the bone fusion to completely heal. Your doctor will monitor progress of the fusion healing with x-rays or a scan. During that time, high-intensity activities like running and heavy lifting will need to be avoided to make recovery as smooth as possible.
My surgery has not only helped me as a coach, but it has also allowed me to become a more active husband, father, and grandfather. I was pretty nervous about the surgery at first, but I'm so happy I went through with it. When I returned to physical activity, I was really amazed at the things I could do. How many times do you say, I don't know if I have the time to do it? You can make the time to do it. Why would you want to live with back problems? Positive attitude matters. You must tell yourself, I'm not going to let pain win. But listen, I'm Coach K, not Dr. K. Make sure you ask your doctor if a spine procedure is right for you.
McKenzie method, also known as mechanical diagnosis and therapy, is a validated assessment process that enables clinicians to quickly identify musculoskeletal problems that will rapidly respond to specific movements and postures.
McKenzie is an assessment and treatment approach that focuses on the capability of patients to treat themselves.
What makes McKenzie so unique is that it is so patient-centered. We do not fix patients. We teach patients and we assist patients to fix themselves.
Its unique feature, I think, is the detective work that the therapist does to understand your pain. There are very specific questions that patients are asked about how their pain behaves, and then more clues are collected about their pain during a repeated movement examination.
What I tell my patients is we can all make mistakes. The diagnostic tests can make mistakes. We can make mistakes as clinicians, but the patient's symptoms will never make a mistake. And as a result, we need to analyze the patient's symptoms and how their symptoms behave in response to different loading strategies, in response to different movements.
So if I find a direction that abolishes your arm pain, for example, and the pain is proven to be coming from your neck, you do a specific exercise that you duplicate every 1 to 2 hours. That exercise will improve your range of motion as well as reduce the symptoms that you're feeling. So the patient is becoming educated and empowered to fix themselves.
This has the dual benefit of helping patients recover from their current episode more rapidly, and also provides them with a means of prevention and, if necessary, a first aid strategy to manage any future recurrences.
MDT is not a tool that the clinician puts in their bag. It's the bag that carries the tools. Exercise, stabilization, strengthening and stretching, mobilizations, manipulations, injections, and even decompression infusion surgeries. Those are all tools. The MDT assessment is a reliable filter that allows the trained clinician to determine which of these tools is the best one to resolve the condition and when that is most applicable.
Thus, the McKenzie method really empowers patients to be responsible for their own care, rather than the common situation where they're dependent on passive management strategies.